so much I want to talk about. I'm going to go to the one that's going to piss you off a little bit. I want to talk about vaccines.
Great.
And I was told, you know,
that's
and
what
it's
I really
like,
wanted to do is come over this morning to be
don't
pissed
bring up
off.
vaccines, and it's like you're going to annoy them, and if you're going to do it at the end. So I'm going to go right.
You don't want to be shushed, do you?
But anyway, you seem convinced that there's a link between autism and vaccines. You didn't actually say that, but
Well, I didn't actually say that, so that isn't something that I believe. No. So, but here, I can clarify it a little bit if you want to talk about vaccines a little bit. What I would say is...
No, can I say what your quote is?
Sure.
Yeah, because your actual quote is...
I love it if it's actually a quote.
I've heard of many tragic cases of walking, talking normal children who wound up with profound mental disorders after vaccines.
Right. The point is that I have heard of, I mean, who hasn't? You ever met a child who has a profound disability, and in the parent's mind, they see a connection? But I didn't allege there was a connection. I said I've heard of people who believe there is a connection. I do think that vaccines are a good idea. I've been vaccinated. My kids have been vaccinated. The funny thing about it is when I was in college, there was a measles outbreak, and I was revaccinated in college. So I've never really had any sort of stubborn opposition or any unscientific or unfounded belief that vaccines are bad. In fact, I'm a huge believer that in the history of medicine, one of the most dramatic medical breakthroughs was that of smallpox. There was a doctor in Boston, and his name was Zebediah Boylston. There's still a Boylston Street in Boston. And he decided that he would try to take from the sore, from a pox sore of someone with smallpox, the pus. You make an incision in the arm of somebody who doesn't have it, you take the pus and you stick it directly in. That's how we did the original smallpox vaccine. It was risky at that time, but he did it to his own son. And at the time, there was massive protest of all the medical community against vaccines, and he was the outlier. He was the physician who would be for this. But it became such a miracle that within a generation, George Washington has his wife vaccinated because more people died in the Revolutionary War from infectious disease than actually died from bullets.
So based on that, jump forward a couple of hundred years, should parents have the right to say, I don't want my children vaccinated, either fully or partially?
The interesting thing about the debate is there's an easy answer to it, but when I gave the easy answer to it, people kind of went crazy because they didn't understand what the debate was about. I'm not promoting any change to vaccine law. The current vaccine law has religious exemptions and philosophic exemptions, so those who jumped all over me on this need to stand up and say what they're for. They asked the president, are you for a new federal law holding people down and vaccinating them? He's not. Neither is anybody else who gave me a lot of grief over this, and neither am I for changing the rules either. But the thing is that the science is good, the encouragement is there, and there are some rules, and I haven't really been promoting changing the rules. But thanks for not getting into vaccines. I'm glad we agreed beforehand not to get into vaccines. What else is on the list that we weren't going to get into?
Well, there's a couple specific things I want to... Oh, there. A couple things. Hello? This is you.